Check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector coming at you on a rainy, windy Memorial Day. And I don't think any of us anticipated that the weather would turn out to be this way, because this is usually the day that we take our first trips to the beach. We start working on that summer tan. We get the grill going and we throw on the ribs and the chicken and the shrimp and the fish and the corn and anything that you like to throw on the grill. This is usually the time of year that we start to do that. But we did not have the opportunity today, thanks to Mother Nature, but it does make for a good opportunity for me to sit down and think about the video game collecting journey that I've been on, because this is usually the point in the year that the excitement is building. It's growing, and I cannot wait to get out there and see what's out there in the field. What does GameStop have for me? What do the yard sales have for me? And what am I going to find at the pawn stores and the thrift shops and everything in between? And it's the excitement is amazing, right? And I think the joy is being able to find that game that you've been looking for, the one game that you wanted to actually play because it's been on your wish list. You've had it on your Game Eye wish list for months, if not years, and now you may actually get out there and find it. And as I'm thinking about this, I started to think about the collecting journey before YouTube and since YouTube. And I started to ask myself the question, is game collecting as fun without YouTube? Was it more fun when I wasn't a part of this online community, this online ecosystem, this online echo chamber of voices that are all sharing and arguing and disagreeing and agreeing on video games? And it was one of the things that I had to take a step back and really do an internal review, somewhat of an internal audit, to see where did I start and how did I get where I am now. Now, prior to collecting video games online and sharing these stories with you, I'd always been an avid video game collector. It's something that's been in my blood. It's something that's been in my family. And I have systems that go all the way back to the 90s. Now, I'm not a dinosaur, so I wasn't playing things like Pong or, the ColecoVision and things like that. And unfortunately, my family wasn't super wealthy, so we didn't have every console that came out. And there were definitely those that I just never got to see until I was older. But I'd always had a passion for game collecting. It's something that's always been around and something that I'd always been a part of and loved to see. And I think the joy that I got out of game collecting prior to YouTube was just being able to kind of escape into my own universe, depending on what game I was playing. So if I wanted to be a ninja, I could shut my room door, lock myself away, turn on the Sega Genesis, and transport myself into this 2D sprite-based world that was filled with ninjas trying to get me with their ninja stars, and I had to outmaneuver them. And it was more of a solemn activity for me. Now, granted, there were those times that I did get together with friends and family, those N64 nights playing Mario Kart and GoldenEye, and then of course, who could forget the PlayStation 2 and Dreamcast era with those nights filled with Power Stone 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom. You can't forget those days, right? But for the most part, prior to YouTube, a lot of my gaming experiences were internally gratifying. I played games a bunch by myself. I'd spend hours trying to get through levels. I would spend entire afternoons playing Kingdom Hearts and things like that. And it was always a fun time. Honestly, it was always a good time, and I really enjoyed it. I never considered myself someone who was like a gaming aficionado or someone who was a gaming geek, but I just really enjoyed video games. I really enjoyed playing them. And because my friendship group wasn't as big into all of the games I was into, I guess I just wasn't as able to be as enthused about it as I think I was internally. And I kind of had to, I guess, bridle my passion, depending on who was around, just because I felt like people wouldn't understand it. Now, thankfully, I played a lot of the common games, and a lot of my friends, they were into games like NBA 2K and Madden and Triple Play. I don't know how many of you remember playing Triple Play, but Triple Play was the baseball game to play back in the day. And I just remember playing those games with my friends, and it was something that we did to pass the time, and just video games felt right because we were still in that place and time in life where it was okay to be immersed in video games. But as we all got older, it seems like the games started to grow more dust. No one was really playing them, and forget playing them, no one was even talking about them. Maybe if something came up in a joke, or if a story involved a video game, then maybe we would kind of go back and do the whole, oh yeah, I remember we used to play that, right? Oh yeah. And then you have that moment, and then you go back to being adults. But that's typically where it was for me. And then something happened, and we all know what happened, but it was something that literally shut the world down. And so many of us had time to reflect, and through our reflections, we started to relive some of these youthful experiences that we had. And some of us then turned to YouTube and started sharing those experiences. And that was me. I actually wound up starting my YouTube channel during the time where we were all left with a lot of time on our hands. And it was the best place for me because I was able to be as enthusiastic about it as I wanted to be. I was able to share my stories of being a child and playing Sega Genesis. I was able to be enthusiastic about different games that I had added to my collection, and I was able to share everything that was in my collection. But over time, I started to really kind of ingrain myself in this online community, and I started to watch other videos, and it almost seemed like the passion that I felt from other YouTubers who were into video games started to rub off, and it kind of ignited a fire in me to where I found myself going to video game conventions, something that I never thought that I would do. I started engaging in video game hunting, and I started documenting my travels and recording all of my interactions, and it became something that was really, really fun. And there definitely was a height of, there was a high point when it came to YouTube gaming. But now here we are in 2024, and I'm still just as passionate about video games. But when it comes to the YouTube piece of it, I really don't know if I see that same level of passion, not necessarily in myself, but when I just look across the landscape, it's really kind of hard to see the same level of interaction in the gaming community. And whereas a lot of people were really talking a lot more about the games they were playing, and the joy they were getting from their games, and just recounting stories of playing certain games, and you still have those channels, don't get me wrong, a lot of it became about the reselling and the deals and the scores and the flea markets and the thrift shops and the flip shops and the profits and the Amazon and the eBay and Mercari, and there's nothing wrong with that, because without people selling games on eBay and Mercari, I probably wouldn't have 20% of the games that I have in my collection. So no knock to you resellers. In a way, we need you, whether we like you or not. A lot of us buy from you without even realizing it. So no knock to that community. But it just seems like the video game collections, the different challenges that people put out, it seems like a lot of that is kind of going away. A lot of that's dying. And even Phoenix Resale, he recently just released a video not that long ago talking about how he's no longer going to be doing any more collection challenges. And I start to wonder if that is a byproduct of just, time passing and where we're at in the economy and people's ability to continue to engage in the video game activities and the game hunting activities that they did before. because it's challenging, right? It's a different climate, it's a different economic climate, and in a lot of ways, reality has sunk back in. Real life has sunk back in. Real responsibilities have sunk back in, and a lot of that free time has evaporated. And it seems like kind of the YouTube aspect of gaming and excitement and joy outside of just the reselling, seems like a lot of that has evaporated. And my question to you is, do you feel like that has taken some of the energy away from the hobby, or do you think it's good that people are getting back to kind of their own, operating in silos and kind of just, being on their own and game hunting on their own and finding the passion internally, as opposed to just, seeing what someone else is doing online and just trying to mimic it? I think it's a very interesting time, especially when it comes to gaming content, YouTube content, collecting content specifically, because I think you have YouTubers who like to do the Let's Plays and show you what they're playing. You have the resellers that show you how to resell and what they're selling and what they're buying. But then you also have the collectors that enjoy collecting and talk about collecting and talk about the different games that they've collected and how they're adding to different game series and different franchises and things like that. And you learn and, you build your library, because collecting is a thing, especially when it comes to video games. And I think it's still interesting. I think there's still a strong community behind it. But I feel like just the YouTube climate is changing. And so I'm putting that question out there. What do you guys think and gals think? Do you think that the YouTube gaming climate and dynamic has changed? And do you think it makes it more fun, or do you think it takes away from it? I'm interested to know. It's the Y2K Collector. Hopefully you've been having a great Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you're spending that time with your family and you're getting to hang out and relax. And most importantly, hopefully you are getting to play those games that you really want to play. But that does it for me. I'm the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.